So if you'll notice, what I just did is I took the integrity player off of pause. When it's off of pause, I'm recording, so anything you say can and will be used against you. Just keep that in mind. If we are recording, it will pick you up. So make sure that you mind what you say. When I hit pause, we're not recording, but please still mind what you say, because, yeah, I just don't want anybody being ugly or rude. The Tegrity classes, as far as the Tegrity classes are concerned, they are on Blackboard. So if you do have to miss a class, go listen to Tegrity. You can listen to Tegrity at slow speed. You can listen to Tegrity at fast speed. I'm told that I sound like a chipmunk when you go on fast speed, but hey, if that's what you need, then go for it. If you don't need the Tegrity classes, if you don't actually need the video, then you can just go onto Blackboard and look at the notes. But if you miss class, I do strongly suggest you go back and look at the notes and see what we did and make sure you can get caught up for the next class. Alright, so like I said, Chapter 1 is a review. It is the basic concepts and properties. Since this is a review, I'm going to let you guys kind of work through these problems and see how we do. Okay? It is a review, so I do want you to work together. You just met everybody around you. So, first thing we're going to talk about is order of operations. Everybody remembers order of operations? Yes? What's the first thing you're going to always do? Grouping symbols. Parentheses or grouping symbols. That's going to be the first thing. And then you're going to get rid of all of your exponents. And then you're going to do your left to right rule. Please don't forget your left to right rule. Okay? So you're going to do multiplication and division from left to right. Don't think PEMDAS, M comes before D, so I have to do all multiplication and then division. Don't think that. Multiplication and division are treated equally, and therefore you're going to work from left to right. Once you clear all your multiplication and division, then you're going to go to addition and subtraction and go left to right as well. So, order of operations. You should have done an order of operations a jillion times before you came in this class. Yes? Oh, but we're going to get good at it. If you have a calculator, you're going to be really good at it. All right. So let's try these two problems and see if we can come up with some numbers. That's the best way to learn, is to make sure that you're doing the problems right. Cheat off your neighbors while you can, because on test day you're not going to be able to cheat. Yeah, they've already got it. Alright, so on this first one, look, I do want you to work together, but when I'm talking, please don't be rude. On this first one, it's straight multiplication and division, so you're going to work from left to right. And notice what I did. I just came on down the line. Now, on your test, you know, I told you if you have a calculator, just type it straight in and hit enter. That's fine. But if you get it wrong on the test and you don't show me any work, then I can't give you any partial credit. So if you're going to use your calculator, make sure your calculator's right. Your calculator's only as smart as you are. Okay? So, if you want me to give you some partial credit on the test, make sure you can show some work. If not, just use your calculator and rely on it and pray that you know how to use your calculator. Okay. The one on the right, notice that says 20 plus 60. We're not going to do any of the addition until we clear this multiplication and division. So we're just going to bring the 20 plus down. Because remember, order of operations. You got to do this before you do this. So you can't touch that addition sign until you clear the multiplication and division. So 60 divided by 10 is going to be 6 times 2. So you got 12, and add them together, and you should get 32. How do we do? Get a calculator. It's the best thing in the world. Get a calculator. All right. So let's work on the first one. Did you notice on the first one that in between your pairs of multiplication and division that there was actually addition and subtraction? When you look at these problems, that's what I want you to be able to see. That's where you should be right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the pairs that have multiplication and division in between them first. And then you're just going to bring down the symbols that we're not ready to use just yet. And then now we can just work from left to right or type it in your calculator. Did you come up with one? Yay. Okay, the one on the right, how many of you did the full method? Nobody did? Somebody did the full? Okay. And you can. If you recognize that this is a binomial times a binomial and you do the full method, that's fine. You're looking algebraically and that's absolutely wonderful. If you didn't do the full method, that's fine. You can do what's inside first. So you're going to get 10. 54. Oh, we're not multiplying. Not yet anyway. Sorry. What's going to be 15? So 150. I was thinking ahead. Alright, so let's multiply here. Distributive property. On this one, well, you don't have to do the distributive. How many of you did the distributive property? A couple of you. Okay. Again, you can do the distributive property if you want to. You don't have to. That's going to be negative 12 times what? 17? So if you wanted to do it that way, I have no idea what that is. So you're going to have a negative 204. So how do we do?
I did better that time.
Good. See, you're talking. When you talk, you can actually do better. Alright, let's try this one, but I want to talk about this last problem because how many of you like fractions? How many of you fractions just don't bother you? Fractions shouldn't bother you. Alright, so let's talk about this. A mixed number. Imagine, let's say that this is positive for right now. If you have 4.5 feet, how many whole feet do you have? How many whole feet do you have? 4, and then you're adding another half. So when you see a mixed number, this is negative 4 plus this half, okay? This is addition. This is not 3 and 1/6. This is not a mixed number. This says 3 times 1/6. This says negative 4 plus. This says negative 3 times. These are two totally different things. This is a mixed number. This is not. Okay? So don't let that be confusing to you. Try it. Did your answers check out with mine? Either one of us is wrong if it didn't. Could be me. Hopefully it's not, but it could be. The one on the top left, again, you're going to do order of operations inside the grouping symbols first. To clear those grouping symbols, you want to get them down to one number. And then you can do that multiplication. How did I know that in the end it was multiplication? How did I know it was multiplication right here? There's nothing in between those parentheses. Same thing here. This is multiplication because there's nothing in between those parentheses. So with both of the ones on the top, you've got to get those grouping symbols down to one number. And the one number would be here and here. And then you can do that multiplication. All right, on the bottom, we've already talked about that one multiple times. I knew that I was going to get fractions or improper fractions here. So I just went ahead and changed this mixed number to an improper fraction because I didn't use a calculator. So here you're going to have 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1, which is going to give you that negative 9 halves. And then, like I said, you can cancel the 3 and the 6 and get negative 1/2. You can cancel 2 and the 4 and get negative 3/2. Negative times negative is positive, but you still have that minus sign right there. So it is going to be negative 3/2. From here, what do you have to have in order to add and subtract fractions? Common denominator. Look, we already got it. Yes. So all you got to do is take the numerators, add them together, and you're going to get negative 13/2. Or, if you use your calculator, you're going to get negative 6.5. The only thing I don't want is a decimal. You don't want to put a decimal. If you start with a fraction, you should end with a fraction or a whole number. Just no decimals. Yes?
I'm just going to go ahead and check on a little bit, but I keep forgetting what happens if you don't have the common denominator.
If you don't have a common denominator, you have to get a common denominator. For example, if you had something like negative 9/2 minus 1/3 minus 3/2, common denominator is going to be 6. And you'd have to do 2 going 6 3 times. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 going 6 2 times. 2 times 1 is 2. Well, that's not right. Let's change that to a 6. 2 going 6 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. And now once you have a common denominator, you can add those together. So if you don't have a common denominator, you got to get one. But if you have a calculator, you don't have to worry about it. Get a calculator. Alright, let's try these two. The problem where the 20, I think, yes, right there. You see how you don't touch that 20 until the end? You will have a problem like that on your test, so make sure you remember that little tidbit of information. So you're going to go inside out. So you're going to have 6 plus 7 times 3 times 10. Inside out. Alright, you'll also have one, you can put a star next to both of these, because you'll have one like the second one on your test as well. What I want you to do here is I want you to get the top down to one number, and then I want you to get the bottom down to one number. So it's kind of like grouping symbols, and you can treat it as such. The top is one group, and the bottom is another group. So we'll do order of operations on the inside first. So we'll do 6 times 8, which is 48, divided by, we'll go this way, 48 divided by 4. Which is going to be 12 minus 2. So on the top, you should get 10. Down here, we're going to have 20 minus 18, which is going to be 2. So we're going to have 5. How'd we do? Hey, yay. All right. Exponents. All of you know how to deal with exponents, I'm sure. There is a button on your calculator that will deal with exponents. Right now, what I want you to do in your calculator is I want you to do 2 to the 5th power. 2 to the 5th power. Some of you may know it on your head, which is totally false. I'm trying to prove. In your calculator, 2 to the 5th power. Make sure you can come up with 32. You should be coming up with 32. 2 to the 5th power is 32. So on your calculator, you should have a button that looks like this, a caret key, or if you're using the Casios, I think it's either y to the x or x to the y. I'm not really positive on which one. So what you're going to do once you find that key is you're going to hit 2, which is your base, and then the caret key is actually going to say raise that to your base to the exponent, and then type in your file as your exponent. Hit enter, and you should come up with 32. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to type in negative 2 to the 5th power. What did you come up with? Negative 32. Okay. This is what I want you to do. I want you to type in negative 5 squared. And don't say anything out loud because I don't want you to hear this. You gotta protect those self-esteems. Negative 5 squared. Type it in your calculator, put it in your head, whatever. Negative 5 squared. Your answer should be negative 25. Negative 25. If you didn't get negative 25 on your calculator, then your calculator's not reading this correctly. You need to know that come test time. Okay? This negative, your base, what is the base for this problem? The base is just 5. This says take the opposite of 5 squared. So the base is just 5. That negative has nothing to do with it. That's why when you work it out, that negative's out here. So you're going to do 5 squared first and then take the opposite. So your answer here should be negative 25. Here, however, what's your base? Your base here is negative 5. What's the difference? What's the difference between here and here? Grouping symbols. The parentheses. Okay? So be very careful with that. Be very, very careful. Because here, you're doing the opposite of 5 squared, but here you're actually doing negative 5 times negative 5, which is positive 25. So you won't get the same So make sure you know what your calculator's doing there. Try these. What is the base of this 2? Stop, I did it again. What is the base of this 2 right here? -4. So that 3 you're going to leave out for right now. And then you're going to do -4 squared, which is going to be a positive 16. Same thing here. The base of that 2, that exponent of 2, is -3. So you're going to do -3 squared, which is going to be 9. And make sure your calculator's reading it that way. Make sure your calculator's reading it that way. Come out with 93 for the first one. Alright. One on the right. On the inside, it's the exact same thing that we just did. Exact same thing. So we're going to do -1 cubed first. And then we're going to do -2 squared. And we're not going to mess with that exponent on the outside because it's on the outside of some grouping symbols. So now we're going to have -3 times 1 is going to be 3 minus 16 squared. So we're going to have -13 squared, which is going to be a positive 169. Alright, so down here, you're going to get what? -7 squared, which is going to be 49. One thing that I don't want you to do here, and we'll talk about this a lot more when we get into some variable algebra, don't distribute that square. You can't distribute a square across addition and subtraction. So make sure you do order of operations there. Try this. The one on the right, I know it's fractions, but question, are any of these fractions mixed numbers? As this problem stands right here, are any of these fractions mixed numbers? No. Those are multiplication problems. That says 6 times 1/3 cubed. So make sure you do 1/3 cubed first, then do the 6. Do you know how to do 1/3 cubed? Do you remember how to do that? You got to cube the top and cube the bottom. Do you remember that? That was relatively late in the 098 class, so you should remember that. 3 cubed is not 9, by the way. It's 27. Y'all are not catching me. Alright, so the one on the left, you should have gotten that one pretty easily. The one on the right, though, if you don't have a calculator, you're going to have to do a lot of math, which is what I was doing. Even here, you're going to have to get that common denominator, which is going to be 9, or you can just use your calculator. Does everybody know where their fraction button is on the calculator? It looks kind of like this. Should look like this. Should be a big A with a B over C, maybe. Most of your calculators should have that button. That being the case, I'm going to put this in the calculator because I don't want to have to find a common denominator. So you're going to do 2 fraction 9, which will show you 2 9ths. And on the calculator, it'll actually, most calculators, it'll look like this. Unless you're using those engineering calculators. That is 2 9ths in the calculator. And then we're going to do minus 4 fraction button 3. And then we'll do plus 7, maybe. Plus 7 minus 4. My calculator's showing 1 8/9. Yes, no. Or you could do what? 17, 79. Anyway. If you get 1 8/9, and for some reason or another, and this will be some something that we'll need to do later on. If you need to change that mixed number to an improper fraction, above this ABC button, should be a button that looks like this, or it says ABC2, ABC, and it may even be a double arrow. But since it's above, since this is your actual calculator, and then that button's above, you have to hit the color button, and it'll change it for you. So if you need 1 8/9 to go to a mixed number, you just hit that colored button, whether it's second or shift, and then hit your fraction button again, and it'll change it to 17/9 for you. And it'll also go the other way, so whichever.